The term is flying as we approach the midpoint mark of Term 3, and the boys are well trained and versed in all things COVID and have accepted the changes with relative ease. We continue to plan ahead to ensure our New South Wales boys and families are catered for as the border restrictions remain firm. And this includes a TSS border program over the September holidays for families who are in need. We'll provide email updates to our New South Wales family as the term progresses to ensure all the logistical questions about crossing the border and quarantine are addressed. Please be assured TSS has supported a number of national bodies such as the ICPA and APSA to ensure the real issues faced by interstate boarding families are addressed. The boys enjoyed a recent sports roundabout organised by Mr. Brian Hain and a number of coaches. Sports included football, basketball, gymnastics, where they absolutely went berserk, and even golf. And Will Brooks from Moree here showing his talent. And keeping the boys occupied is so critical over a boarding long weekend, and our thanks goes to Mr. Hain for all his efforts. The boys also recently enjoyed a bushwalk adventure with Mr. Bland to the Natural Bridge at Springbrook, and unsurprisingly I allocated myself to supervise a recent boat cruise up and down the Nerang River on a 60-foot luxury boat. The 24 boys who attended had a great time relaxing and indeed exploring the vessel. They fished successfully as well as simply relaxed as the boat cruised the Broadwater for a 3-hour tour. And a little bush boy in Year 7 told me on his departure from the boat, that was the best boat and the first boat I've ever been on. I responded, well mate, it's all downhill from here. In recent times, boys in Years 11 and 12 undertook a 2-hour information session from a prominent Queensland lawyer, Mr. Adair Donaldson. And Mr. Donaldson presented a number of real-life scenarios highlighting the legal issues revolving around alcohol, drugs, sex, phones and the like. It was the most engaging session, with the boys giving great feedback. Our thanks to the Border Parent Support Group who funded this initiative. This week we also commenced another Border Parent Support Group funded initiative around border wellbeing. We'll be trialling over the next couple of months in Rogers House a boarding wellbeing app that monitors 3 times a week the wellbeing of your son, his sleep, stress levels, energy levels, his interaction with others, happiness and other important elements. So boarding staff, particularly senior boarding staff, can monitor your son's wellbeing. Below this video report is a link that better articulates what the app does, so please click on that link when completed. And please be sure that all results are confidential and that only relevant staff have access to the boys' wellbeing levels. We look forward to reporting the results of the Year 7 trial in the future. Thank you to the 60 plus people who attended the Gundawindi function to meet our new headmaster-elect, Mr. Andrew Hawkins. Our next town is Roma, and we look forward to seeing families from the broader district in mid-September. We are also currently planning a trip to Rolleston over the last weekend of the vacation period. Please note our poor New South Wales families, we will be in New South Wales as a priority once permitted. A reminder that our annual general meeting of the Border Parent Support Group will be held on August the 28th. We will hold this meeting via a webinar, and a link will be emailed to all families this week. And finally, we thought it would be a good idea to hear from TSS boarding staff to get to know them a little better. Before we introduce a couple of them, on behalf of the TSS boarding community, we acknowledge and congratulate the appointment of Mr. Carl Boss as the new Deputy Headmaster, Head of Senior School. And Carl's appointment is well deserved and is a testament to his professionalism and compassion. His appointment is great for TSS boarding.
Thanks, Tony, and to all the boarding families that have supported myself and my family in Delprat and in previous years, and those that are still currently here. It's a great privilege, opportunity to continue on here at TSS and to live on campus in the residential community. To also still be a part of your boys' journeys is really important to me. I see the boys a couple times a week at night in border prep, sport, weekends, and throughout some activities throughout the year. And I want to continue that as the Deputy Headmaster and in this new position. So once again, I wouldn't be here without your advocacy, your support, and I'm looking forward to 2021 and beyond working with the team. Thanks.
And let's hear from some of our assistant boarding house masters. This week, Joe Dolan from Biddle and Sam Huckstep from Delprat.
Okay, so how did we get here? So Mr. Hayne visited the UK a number of years ago, and I was working for a Premier League football club. I've had a professional football career, had a few injuries which led to me starting my coaching career and teaching career pretty early. So I had all that done in my mid-20s. I was working for a Premier League club and met Mr. Hayne, and he said, why don't you come over and have a look at TSS? And I said, okay, no problem. My wife had lived there for a couple of years in Sydney, so she was always keen to get me back to Australia to have a look around. That was 2007, a long time ago, and we stayed in touch, and finally Mr. Hayne managed to put something together for me which involves all the roles that I do now at TSS. And he invited me here, and we moved from the UK thinking we'd give it a shot, and we're still here 6 years later, and it feels like we've gone on holiday for 6 years. Absolutely love the school, love the role, love the part of the world, so long may it continue.
So I'm from New Zealand originally. I lived there for 30 odd years before moving over in 2017 with my wife Nina and our eldest daughter Lila, and since moving to Australia we've also had another daughter, Mia, so that keeps me pretty entertained and things are pretty interesting at home.
Assistant housemaster, Biddle House, been in there, this is my second year. Also the director of soccer, or football as the GPS program calls it. I'm also the sports centre manager, so I manage the basketball courts and any bookings that we have down there. I also manage the website, so the sports website that is, so SOCS we call it. So that's another part of my role. I teach PE to all the core groups from year 7 to year 10 every afternoon. And I organise the inter-house sport. So I think that's pretty much me covered in terms of what I do.
I'm the Delprat assistant housemaster. Started here at the school in 2017. Had been the Kaiser housemaster, have been a Rogers resident teacher, and I'm also a teacher of accounting and economics in the senior school.
What do people not know about me? Probably that I'm actually Irish, I'm not English. I played international football for Northern Ireland, which is a tiny little province on the top of Northern Ireland. So hopefully that's me covered. Look forward to seeing you all over the next few weeks and at house suppers in term 4. Thanks very much.
Sweet.
So some of you may know that I enjoy music, enjoy singing and playing guitar. When I was 14, I started a band called Mullet with my best friend, and we played in various high school competitions. We continued into university. I then transitioned to another band with another good friend of mine and played a few live shows back home. And at the moment just doing some solo project work, so doing some recording. Really looking forward to when the new NN Theatre is built with the recording studio there to see how that works, and hopefully do some of my own recording, maybe even take some of the boys down to do some work down there too. That'd be great.